Is the buzz around the Absolute Universe still strong? We have some new projects from the MCU, like Captain America and What If. How did they affect the market? And everything you need to know about the top trending comics this week, a combined list from CBSI, Cover Price, and Key Collector. Let's watch. All right, as you can see here, I got the PowerPoint up. Here I am in the window, and he hit the comic heat index. It's gonna take a while for me to get it. Is how I'm going to do the top trending comics. It's based off of the top 20 lists from different places, and I'll explain how I came up with the numbers and really the methodology behind the rankings. You might be surprised on what ends up being the top book. You might be surprised what ends up being in this top 10 list. But the idea is I want to take up all the information from the different sources that I gather to create one consolidated list that would eventually give us what we call a true top 10. Let's go ahead and show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So the goal of this list is to consolidate the data from these multiple platforms to form a combined top 20 list. I'm actually doing a top 10 list right now because it seems to be a better list, and it's going to be a list that's going to be a lot faster to digest. It's going to be based off of market performance, popularity, and finally hype. There will be hype associated with this list. If a movie comes out, a trailer comes out, or some new that people are excited for, so that actually increases the hype of something, and that's going to be part of this list as well. The data sources are going to be Key Collector Comics, the Hot 10 list, and Cover Price. So the Key Collector top is the first one, really, because they're the ones that come out with their list earliest. It's the trending list based on the collector's interest. When you get there, the trending 20 list, I will capture that trending 20 list, and that's really going to start off the process of this list. Next up is CBSI. That's the comic book investor speculation and investment channel. And what they do is they do the same thing. They do a weekly analysis of the sales trends. What they don't do is they don't give us full-fledged numbers. They'll give us average, like, an average of 30 books were sold or something like that. They're a good, reliable source. They're the second source. They come out Friday nights, but by Saturday, I'll have that list. And finally, we have Cover Price. Now, Cover Price, they're literally the ones that take the longest for me because their top 20 list actually comes out today, and actually came out about an hour ago. I have to capture that information to create a true top 10 based off of these three. Now, I will say Cover Price list, since it's the most current, it's going to have a little bit more weight than Key Collector and the Hot 10 list. And I'll explain the metrics in a bit. Speaking of the metrics, I just said that. The metrics are going to be based off a couple of things. Fair market value, the raw price of comic books, are the most common grades. So what I'm going to do, instead of giving you what the 9.8 value is, I'm going to give you what's the most common books, so what's the most common fair market value. And that's going to be part of the metric. What's the price of this book? If it's a high, is it a low, or something like that? So that's going to be part of it. Also, the trending list ranking is going to be a part of it, to where these books lie in the ranking list: Key Collector, CBSI, and Cover Price, as I mentioned before. Sales volume, that's a really important one because it's the week over week sales increase. This is the numbers of how this book has risen in sales over the past week over week. And finally, hype level. That's where we have the community buzz, and it's going to be categorized under low, medium, and high. These are the metrics that I'm going to be utilizing to create this list. The point systems: each comic can earn up to 100 points in each category. The points decrease in increments of 5 based off of the ranking. For example, if a book receives, it's the number one book, it receives 100 points. From there, it drops down 5%, 5 points. And once it reaches 0, you cannot get any more points. There's no negative points. Once we've hit that marker, then that's it. There's not going to be any more points given, but there's not going to be points taken away either. That's going to be important to know. Right? Weight of the metrics. This is what I was talking about the weighting systems. Fair market value ranks 10% because really the fair market value is just for you to know what's the total value of this book. Of like, if you go out for the hunt, this is what this book is really selling for. And that's not really changing much of whether there's if it's a trending book or not. It's because of a book could be an older book and it has a higher FMV, which makes it more difficult to obtain because of that pricing or something like that. However, the trending list has 35% of the weight, and the points from each list are weighted differently to reflect the perceived reliability or influence of each platform. For example, for Cover Price, it's a slightly higher weight, partly because they're the list that's brand new. They're the list that just came out. So this information is so new that it has to have a little bit of weight. But Key Collector and CBSI both have the same modern weight of 30% of their trending score. Sales volume is extremely important. It actually has the highest level of metric here of weight with 40%. And finally, hype level takes up 15%. And all this is going to build up to what I gathered as a top 10 list for you. Adjusting for ranks, Key Collector, CBSI, and Cover Price rankings are assigned points individually. If they fall on their certain ranking system, those are points that are going to be done individually, and the sales and FMV values are ranked similarly based off of descending order. Okay. As far as the final ranking goes, the total score is weight sum of all metrics. The comics are ranked from the highest to the lowest score, the highest being number 1 and the lowest being whatever number it gets. Now, you're going to get the top 10 here. There are books that are not going to be in this list because they're below that ranking system that I created here. Let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at this top 10 list. This is the top 10 list based off of the information I just told you. Let's start off with the very first book in the list. And what a surprise! It's Amazing Spider-Man 300. Now, this book is a classic key. First full appearance of Venom. It is a book that has been homage more than any other book that we could even possibly think of in the comic book sphere. It does have a lot of weight right now as far as that fair market value goes of $442 near mint value. So that's between a near mint value and a raw. It's not near mint as far as the slabbing goes. I decided to keep it in raw prices here just to make it a little more easily obtainable. As far as the trending lists go, it's not on Key Collector's list, nor is it on CBSI, but it made the Cover Price 20. Now, as I mentioned to you before, fair market value has some weight in there, as well as sales volume. So sales volume, it actually has an increase of 150%. And the hype level, I'm going to say right now, is medium. We just came off a Venom movie. It's there, but it's actually going on a downward trajectory. Most people that were going to go see the Venom movie have already saw it. The hype for Venom is not fully gone because there is talks of Agent Venom. But the Venom train, as far as Venom 3 goes, it's actually going away for us now. And that's why this book is at number 10. And that's why the hype level is actually at a medium level right now. By next week, I think this level will be more on the low. Okay. Number 9, this is a book that is very high as far as the hype level goes because there's a lot of talk of this new character, Spider-Girl. And we have the first cameo appearance of Spider-Girl in Spider-Boy issue 11. The fair market value of this book has skyrocketed to $22 near mint. This is a book that's only not even a month old. Key Collector currently has it ranked at number 5 on this list, but it's not on CBSI and it's not in Cover Price. However, the sales volume has gone up 250%, and I do believe this book is going to continue to go up as more people start to get to know a little bit more about this Spider-Girl character. After a while, I do believe it's going to start trickling down. We'll see how things go. I don't expect this book to be in the list next week, but you never know. Next book up is a book that actually does have some hype moving up on the upward, and that is Fantastic Four 54. Now, the fair market value of a near mint copy of this book is $300, which is actually fantastic for a Fantastic Four book. An early Kirby Stan Lee book, the first appearance of Black Panther. Now, the reason why this book is in this list is because we heard that Denzel Washington will be playing a character in the next Black Panther movie that is coming out. We don't know the details on who is he playing. Is he playing a villain? Is he playing another Wakandan? We know nothing right now. All we know is that Denzel has confirmed in an interview, whether he was supposed to say it or not, he's confirmed that he is in fact going to be in the next Black Panther movie. That brings up the hype. Sales of this book has gone up to 186%. It is in the sphere. People are talking about it. The hype level is medium for this book because has nothing to do with Black Panther. The character has everything to do with Black Panther movie, the third part of this movie. Next book up is What If #1, the original volume 1 of What If. Now, surprisingly, this book's fair market value is at $20, but this book has had a significant sales volume increase of 267% with a hype level of high because the What If trailer came out and everybody's excited for it. I do believe there are other books that people are going to start looking for. For example, the first cover or appearance of Storm as Thor. You can look up some X-Men Annuals, #9, for example. That book is a book that I think we will be seeing on this list very shortly. Be on the lookout for that one. However, this What If book is there because of What If the series is returning late December on Disney Plus. That's why this book is on this list. It's currently #8 on Key Collector, but the sales volume is going up, and it's currently at 267% where last I checked it. Next up is a book that I think is on the trajectory going down because all the hype for this book has come and gone, and that is Tales of the Bizarre #9 from Dren Publications. This book has a fair market value of $40. It's not on Key Collector, it's not on cover price, but it is #6 on CBSI. It does have a very high sales volume of 656%. However, the hype of this book is dropping down. Now, some of you may be asking the question, what is this book? What is Tales of the Bizarre? What's going on with this cover? Well, it is a very controversial book. And for those of you who are watching and those of you who know a little bit about this book, it is rumored that this book artist, which his name is Zaf, has been using AI to create and generate this artwork, which of course has been very controversial in the landscape. But with controversy comes speculation. With controversy comes trending, and people, even though they're against it, they're still going out to get it. That's why this book has had a sales increase. It's kind of like the era book that's out there where people just have excitement over something that they may or may not like. And this is one of those situations with Tales of the Bizarre #9. Also, you could look back at the previous issue, I believe is #8. That's also done by Zap. So that's a book that we might see show up if this one is already unattainable. But this is the one that got people talking at first. There you go. Next book for #5. This one is Absolute Superman #1, the black and white 1/100 edition by Jim Lee. I have to admit, I prefer the black and white over the color one. Now, the fair market value of this book, because it is a 1/100, is $130. Give or take, right? It has made it to all 3 of the trending lists. So it's #10 on Key Collector, it's #4 on CBSI, and it is #7 on cover price. All that brings it up at scale. And it actually has a sales volume of $140, which is, I do believe, is going upwards. And it's definitely part of that hype train with the Absolute universe. Whatever, if you slap the word absolute, people are buying. And this is one of those books where people are buying this book, and they're buying this book by the droves. This is a book that is highly sought after. It is on the hype train. People would want to get it. That's why it's #5. #4 is another book that just came out of nowhere, and it's Star Wars The Force Awakens #1. This is the adaptation of the movie. It came out when the movie came out, and this one has a fair market value of $18 near mint. Surprisingly, it is the first comic book appearance of all these characters from that movie, from that franchise, and For $18, I would say it's a steal at the moment. However, I definitely see this book continue to go up as more hype for Star Wars and as people start to realize, wait a minute, this is the first appearance of Rey, this is the first appearance of Finn, this is the first appearance of all these other characters. This book should be higher in price, and it's not. And probably because I would say there's probably a high amount of books out there. However, the sales volume of this book is 567%. The hype is on a medium at the moment because within the comic book community, there's not a lot of buzz. However, outside of the comic book community, with the announcement of a new Star Wars trilogy that will focus on Rey as a Jedi Master, is getting a lot of buzz. That's why the hype train is at a medium right now. But it's number 4 on the list. This book could be around for a little while. Number 3 is Daredevil 183. This is the first battle of Daredevil and Punisher. And this fair market value is $40. It's not a high expensive book, but which is quite surprising. However, this book is a classic Frank Miller book. We have some hype that is on it because we have Daredevil Born Again coming up, and we know Punisher is going to be part of that series. However, I do believe that the hype is going to continue to rise. The sales volume of the book is at 2,100%. People are buying this book like crazy. There is a trend. It's number 3 on the Key Collector app. It is also number 8 on Cover Price. It's not on CBSI, but I almost guarantee you you're going to see it in CBSI this week on Friday. I could guarantee this book is going to be there. So be on the lookout for Daredevil, Man Without Fear, 183. This book is going to be hot. It's medium right now. By next week, I bet you it's going to be high. Number 2 is another book here that came out of nowhere. And that is Forbidden Planet number 1 from Innovation Comics. This book is getting some traction because there is some option talk about this book. Of course, when there's option talk, there's hype behind it, right? And with it, that's why the hype is at a medium level. I don't see this book really sticking around for too long unless a lot of people want it. But it is the number 1 book for CBSI. It is also the number 1 book for Cover Price. It did not make the Key Collector list. It does have a sales volume of 186%. This book, I'm going to say next week we're going to see it lower because the people that want to buy it have already bought it, or the people that are trying to get it have got it. And we probably won't hear from it for a while until we hear again of Forbidden Planet returning. That's number 2. Let's take a look at the number 1 book in the list. And it is Captain America 230. This book has a fair market value of $60 and very fine. As you can see there, I got a little typo going on. I was moving really fast. It is the number 1 book on Key Collector. It is number 3 on CBSI, and it's actually number 13 in Cover Price. However, what has been building this book up to number 1 status is the sales volume of 1,067% with a hype level of high, because everybody saw this and they saw the poster for the next Captain America movie, The Brave New World, and it's a nice homage to this book, which everybody's getting it. I do believe that this is going to cool down, but as of right now, it is hot. If you want this book, I suggest you wait patiently for it, and it will come to you eventually. This is a book that's not an expensive book. It's a book that after a good amount of time, I think you're going to see it drop in value. $60 is a cost right now, which is not too bad. So if you want to pick up a nice, good bronze Captain America, or I believe it could be copper. I'm not 100% sure when it came up, but it is still only 35 cents. Go check it out. Go pick it up. This is a book. This is number 1 on the list. What do you think of this ranking system? I would like you to take the time to share it in your comments. So stay tuned for next week's rankings, where I'm definitely going to talk more about these new books coming. I hope you enjoyed what I did here. This is something that took a lot of time to build, and I finally was able to build it and made it to the very last wire. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.